Hello ladies and gentlemen, it has been quite a while since I have made any sort of videos in almost 12 months, but I wanted to make this because we have our first drop of Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated gameplay, and I've got some stuff to say about it because some of you may know if you watched my playthrough of it, this game was extremely near and dear to my heart, and I have a lot of things to say about it, good and bad, so far from this alpha gameplay. So let's get into it. And I'm going to be covering the highlights of stuff that I like and what I don't like. And of course, right off the back, it looks freaking incredible. I mean, it's almost a 17-year gap in graphics, so it already looks freaking beautiful. So, and the animations of the running, the robot, like everything looks so great just already. And it's amazing too that they end up keeping the same soundtrack. None of it's changed, and I love that. That's actually what I was hoping for, was the soundtrack would be exactly the same, and it is, thank God. And the sound effects as well for the robots, the voice acting, it's all similar. It's all pretty much exactly the same.
Well, according to the Jellyfisher field manual,
I don't know if they took the original actors or if they ended up taking the exact same voice clips, because it's literally the exact same, and they didn't change any of the dialogue from this opening.
Well, I guess you're off to scale Spork Mountain and die a horrible death under the vicious tentacles of pig jellyfish. I'll stay here, balled up here in excruciating pain. Well, I guess you're off to scale Spork Mountain and die a horrible death under the vicious tentacles of pig jellyfish. I'll stay here, balled up here in excruciating pain.
The only thing that I did notice too on the second time I've watched this is, because like I said, this is alpha, so things are going to change. The lip syncing doesn't match up with the voice. Like, there was times when Squidward's mouth was moving, but he wasn't saying anything, even though the dialogue was still going on. In the original, he actually has his mouth moves and he does his animations when he's talking. But when he's not talking in the scene, like when his dialogue stops before you hit continue, his mouth doesn't move, and it just sits there, like he's just staring at you like, okay, so what are you waiting for? Hit continue to get on to the next piece of dialogue. The only thing that I think is a little off for me is the shiny objects sound effect. I think it's a little strange. And because it kind of sounds like, I don't know what the sound effect reminds me of, but I know it's from another video game where it sounds like it's like a money sound effect, kind of like a cash register. And I'm not a fan of the running animation that SpongeBob has when he gets afraid. Like it looks like his arms are weightless and they're just like floating like paper. Because in the original he would like shake his hands and they would like get huge and his eyes would get large. Like his eyes would become like three-dimensional out of his head, and that looks more comical. So, and the crate sound effects sound great. So it's like the proper tweaks have been done to the sound effects and for the crate smashing and everything. But the socks, I don't like how they're in bubbles like the underwear, and they don't have any shine to them, because I don't know if it was a PS2 thing or like the 6th generation in general, but it looked better when you would have the little shine aura around it, because from afar it would say like, oh yeah, there's a sock from a distance, because you can't really see it. So unless you know where all the socks are, you're gonna have to look up a freaking tutorial, unless they've changed any of the locations, which I would imagine that they might change like a few. But I'd probably say about 8 to 9 out of 10 of those in the original game were placed pretty well. They were placed in pretty good areas where you couldn't really find them. But the underwear being in bubbles looks fine. Like that I'm okay with. But you can't really see them when they're inside the bubble. So that's why I have a problem with the sock being in it, because the socks are already in really, really hidden locations. So I don't think it makes any sense for that to happen. But like I said, this is alpha, like I said on the far left, so hopefully they'll tweak some stuff. But like the color palettes, the greens, the tans for the sand, it looks beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Like, it looks so nice. So, and the one other thing I didn't really am a fan of in terms of the animations as well is his jumping animation doesn't look right. Like, it looks very stilted and very, like, not proper. Like, it looks like he's hovering more than he's jumping. And I get that a double jump isn't natural anyway, like in a lot of platformers, but in the original, his arms would go longer down, and then his hands would kind of like flap like he's flying, and it would look like he's actually. The animation just looked better. Like, it didn't look so stilted. But I do hope that they tweak that as well, because that's something I visually caught right away. But the punch sound effects with bubble spin, crates, enemies, and the punch sound effects are great. So that I don't have a problem with, but it's just primarily the jumping animation. The running animation is the running animation looks fine actually, but it's like he's running naturally, like with his arms swinging side to side. It looks like a little bit of a tweak and an upscale for what they did previously, and it looks fine. But it's just his jumping animation, his double jump, and it doesn't look right. So I don't know. It's just it's kind of off. And the one other thing I really liked a lot for the original, when you would talk to characters, like in dialogue sessions, like with Gary, for example, the camera would actually focus on SpongeBob's face and his body. Like, it would switch back and forth. So, and obviously this alpha gameplay isn't showing the entire conversation. So it's just, I don't know, like, even SpongeBob's face looks a little more flat than he used to. Like, it doesn't look like it has a lot of dimension. And I get that SpongeBob was a two-dimensional cartoon when it was drawn by people. I get it was a two-dimensional cartoon, and you can only adapt so much to it, but it doesn't. His face looks like it doesn't have any dimension to it whatsoever, with his eyes and his nose. And maybe that's what they were going for, but it looks kind of different to me, and it's kind of off-putting. But other than that, like, I love that the grass and everything moves when you walk through it. It looks absolutely amazing. And I like too that when jellyfish sting you, you actually get a huge hitbox of how big it's gonna be, because in the original you had no idea how big the hitbox was, so you could get like barely close to it, and then it would sting you because you got close to it. So it's kind of nice that you get a visual representation of how big the hitbox is for the stingers. So, and of course the water being more transparent because it was extremely solid before the colors, so you couldn't even see down to the bottom of the waterfall with the sand. So that definitely looks really good. And then one other thing that's different about the hammer guy, the hammer robot, is that's actually aluminum. That's not even like an actual ham piece, because in the original it would actually have like a whole thing of ham that was like cut like that, and then when the guy would hit the floor, the whole hammer would literally flatten for a second and it would come back up. So it looked like it was an actual piece of food. So it was more comical, but that's just a visual gag that they wanted to include in the original. But yeah, his face looks a little bit more flat, even though his eyes, it looks strange on his model. I think it's just the way that they hand drew the model in the computer animation. So, and again, too, his flying animation when he was jumping there didn't really look as good either. So it's just strange, but the robots look great, the environments look amazing. SpongeBob looks good too, but it's just some of the animations just look off for the character from the original. So, and then we're gonna go ahead and skip to the King Jellyfish fight here. Bubble Buddy still greets you, which is nice, but yeah, these cinematics look really nice, but like I said, SpongeBob's eyes and his mouth looks really too small for his model, and it looks like it needs to be a little bit more expanded, like in the original. So King Jellyfish looks absolutely incredible, because they added new singing animations, and his brush you can definitely see the little the hair frizzles on it. And I like the little visual for the boss fight as well, showing that shows that when he's charging and he grabs the ground and then he sends a shockwave out, you can actually visually see it drain out of them, which looks really visually cool. So it gives you an idea of when he's actually going to shoot it. So like you can see it right there. But I also do like the little comical effect too. When you actually hit him, he actually knocks his head because he's like, oh, why did he hit me? Like, I like those little gag animations that were added. So it does add more charm to the characters already. So overall, there's a lot to like here already just from the Jellyfish Fields level. And this is definitely the one level you'll want to show off in your demos, because this is definitely the most colorful level out of the original, besides SpongeBob's Dream and I would say Sand Mountain as well, because you show off a lot of tan and like darker purples. But Jellyfish Fields definitely has the most dynamic color range, so this would be the one to show off for your demo. But there's a lot to like here. Like, I'm really pleased with how it looks. Especially from the in-game screenshots, it was pretty impressive when they released on Steam. Yeah, I think they just need to expand his mouth a little bit. Other than that, I think it looks really amazingly good. Like, I really can't wait for this game to come out, and I'm gonna be literally gonna platinum this entire game with all the trophies, because I've been looking forward to this ever since they announced it about 2 months ago. It's all I've been waiting for the PS4. And those who didn't get the chance to play this game when they were growing up are going to get that amazing chance to play it, because this game was really something special when it came out back in 2003. So that's it for me, guys. I really am looking forward to this, and I'll do some more responses and comparisons between the graphics and everything later down the road when we get more gameplay, and hopefully soon we'll know the release date. So, because I really can't wait to pre-order this game, because I'm going to pay it all in full immediately and get this game. So I'll see you guys on my next video whenever I want to post. Bye.